with Mr. Mannie Lowe. He works as our field manager here for SSR, but he does so much more than that. So first off, thank you for serving. I mean, we've been running ahead of schedule all day on the fields, and I know it's no small effort. It's not easy to do. All these crazy people, bringing them in, stage from everywhere. So tell us a little bit about your first story, your job, your first story. Tell us your first story.
My first story, I got involved with first about 12, 13 years ago. I worked for a company that sponsored Roswell High School, Team 832. Shout out to Oscar. And they were more, they needed some help with programming and other things like that. I stopped by. My boss told me, hey, stop by, see how they're spending our money. And so I stopped by. They turned me in and said, do you know how to program? I helped them with some programming for the robot. And then I went to Peachtree, got involved with Peachtree. And the reason I got involved with First, actually it was Georgia First at that time, was the coach at Roswell told me, you know, if you volunteer, they'll feed you.
That's true. That's true.
And so, yeah, we as volunteers, you get a shirt and you get fed. It's wonderful. So volunteer. The other thing, so I volunteered. They put me on pit admin, and as shy as you are with a microphone, I was able to blast out to the pits and fell in love with the program. Got involved with the state level, and then pretty soon they said, hey, there's this new program called First Vex Challenge back then, and would you like to possibly head it up? And that's where I met Robert and Ray Sperlin, and we had a great time doing that. So I've been around for with First Tech Challenge since its beginning.
Awesome. So you've seen every game. Now, from what I've heard, you do a little bit more than just compete in the games.
Right.
You actually...
I am on the game design committee.
And you've been on it for...
about 10 years.
So what your first challenge was?
My first challenge, I believe, was not Block Party.
Not Block Party. That was my first challenge.
It was Hot Shot.
Okay, now here's a better question. Can you name all 10 of them in order?
I used to. There's been 12, but there's Hot Shot. Well, first there was Hanging Around, Quad Quandary. Before Hanging Around, though, there was Half Pipe Hustle. That was the pilot game. Quad Quandary, Face Off, something, Hot Shot. And then I'm lost it.
Okay, but then, you want to work your way out of it.
Yeah.
But thank you for all the effort you've done. I mean, I know it's really hard. I mean, I sat down and we did a little demo challenge for our teams, and I just sat down and I wrote out the rules. I'm like, all right, they'll fine, they'll get it. And then they asked me like 100 questions. I'm like, oh man, I really didn't do a good job. So I can't imagine having 100,000 teams, questioning what you do. What's that process like?
The process is very interesting. There's a bunch of us get together and we say, okay, we come up with a design, a concept. Sometimes we put a theme before we have the theme before we do the design. Most of the times we have the design before the theme, and so we kind of make sure it works. But then we say, okay, how are the teams going to, what questions are they going to ask? How are they going to try to defeat it? Because one thing that First also does, besides inspire new engineers and scientists and all of that, they also inspire lawyers because they like to lawyer the rules.
Absolutely.
But we treat that for fun, and we go in and say, okay, let's make sure that we've got a balanced game as well as a fair game, and to make sure that we want all the teams to succeed, whether they're a rookie team or a veteran team. So that's one of the pluses that we've had for the last 5 years.
So what was something interesting about the design of this game? Something interesting? Is there anything interesting stories there?
It's been so long ago because we try to get so ahead. For example, we're now thinking of concepts for not next year's game, but the year after. We are thinking.
By the time you get to this game, you're like, this is old hat. This is 2 years ago for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We've been playing with this game this is the end of our second and a half year. So we've been playing with this game. So it's a lot of fun. Next year is going to be fun too. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Did you pick up a water bottle just then? I think I saw you look at my water bottle. You looked at my water bottle.
I asked people if they know how to swim.
Oh. Okay. Well, all right. Well, here's a better question. What was your favorite challenge?
My favorite game was Hot Shot.
Okay. What made Hot Shot interesting?
Because we shot things for the first time, as opposed to picking up and placing. We had balls flying in the air.
Oh,
that was the best part. The other thing that was so neat about it was the alliances, the autonomous period with the beacons, and figuring out how the goal was moving, how teams tracked against the beacon to make sure that they were laned up to shoot, as well as during regular. Some great teams actually back then used used to basically put a autonomous period in their teleop
So they could
auto track it while they're doing. So when the robot knew that they were in range, they start shooting. So they'd spend no time automatically. The robot would do that for them.
That's awesome. So in relic recovery, you've been watching a lot of matches. You've been down there on the field. Have you got a chance to watch a lot of strategies? Like, you see strategies that you say, you're like, man, I didn't think about that. Like when you were designing it. Have you seen those?
It's not so much as what we've seen on the field as what we haven't seen on the field. One of the things that was interesting is teams, even though it's only a penalty if you cross the line in autonomous, they stay on their half of the field. Also, teams also work on one crypto box and one crypto box only. There's no cooperation between the two teams on the same alliance. So I'd like to see more teams help each other out with their, let's both fill this crypto box, let's both fill that crypto box, and then working together. I know the field is a little crowded to do that, but they play off. I saw one match today where a team was talking with each other, and one team went to go get the relic. The other team said, "Okay, let's finish their crypto box because they only need one more glyph together."
That's the kind of stuff that you love seeing happen, where you can overcome a robot insufficiency, shall we say, with proper strategy.
Correct.
I know. Looking back on the challenges that I've competed in, and even back a bit further, I talk about Ring It Up all the time, and how much I would have loved to compete in Ring It Up because there was so much strategy involved, not only a proper robot design.
Exactly.
And one of the things that like my team talks about is like your robot should only allow you to execute your strategy better, right? It shouldn't be, oh, we have a great robot and a terrible strategy. It should be hand in hand. So how much do y'all think about like, okay, well, if you build a great robot, you can do well, but you also have to have a great strategy. What's the design process out there?
We like seeing things like that. We try to make the game so that it is not just mechanical or you have a good robot. We want to see the strategy. We want to see people think about autonomous in a more detailed way, as opposed to just driving off the balancing stone, as opposed to just driving off that and parking. Try do something else, or go help your opponent do something else, and be cooperative in that part.
Awesome. Well, you've been around first, obviously, a long time. First VEX Challenge, everything's from then on. You've seen a lot of students come through, and you've been working with some students, ex-students now, or ex-alumni students now. So what's one thing that they need to take from first into the workplace?
Well, actually, a couple things. Number one, it's okay to fail. It's encouraged, and that's what's so beauty about this. Celebrate what you've learned. Celebrate how you compete. Celebrate how you are a gracious professional, and enjoy your fellow teammates as well as the other teammates. One thing I've noticed in Mississippi and Georgia, where the two places where I work the most, is that the teams really like each other.
Yeah.
They get along, they play around, they date each other sometimes, but we won't go there. But it's one big family. I mean, it's like Woody says, on the field you compete like crazy, but afterwards, you compete like crazy on the field, but off the field, you guys are wonderful with each other. You work with each other, you dance with each other, and it's a great thing.
I remember one of those heartbreaking moments for me was last year at the Georgia State Championship. We were going against, our alliance was against an alliance with one of our best friend teams on there, and it got to the scenario where either we win and we go to Super Regionals, or they win and they go to Super Regionals. And it was like either we have to win or they have to win. It was very just like, I felt that emotional connection of, I don't want them to lose, but I also don't want us to lose. And I felt very much like what you just said right there. It's about building the community and not just building a robot, but building friendships.
Right. Same story at World Championships one time when a team on one alliance lends a part to the opposing alliance in the Einstein finals, and it was 1-1, and they were the last match of the day, and this is it, and they popped a chain, and they needed a master link. They didn't have any in their alliance. The blue alliance lent it to the red alliance. The red alliance ended up winning. Blue celebrated it more than red, because it was their master chain that beat them.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, after all that, I just have one last question for you.
Yes.
What is the best Star Wars movie?
What is the best Star Wars movie? I particularly like Episode 7.
Episode 7, really?
Yeah, it was a good tying in of everything. After that, I would say number 5.
Okay, Empire Strikes Back. Nice. Yep. Rogue One, where's Rogue One on your rating list?
Rogue One on my list is high up there. Rogue One is 3.5. I mean, as far as episodes go, but that was very good as well. I enjoyed that tie-in as well. I'm looking forward to Rogue 2. But
well, I'm looking forward to the finals. I know you're going to run some great finals, sir, and I can't wait to see it happen.
Dylan, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do and for this, and to all the teams out there. Have a great time this rest of the season and celebrate, enjoy, have fun.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We'll see you later.